Cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. No. Not Haley Deegan. Justin Haley. Why? It's because the name starts with Haley, that's why. But, he fucking won. He fucking won. Yo, what is up, everyone? My name is Jeff Krause. Welcome back to the episode of Inside the Lines Post-Race Edition. And yes, you heard that right. Justin Haley wins at Daytona. So, yeah, let's talk about it. Now, this is taking place after, because I already recorded everything that you're about to listen to now. So, just a little intro slash opener, because I forgot to do that at the beginning. But yeah, here's a look at me from the past, basically explaining everything that took place from today's Daytona Cup race. So let's get right into it. The race was supposed to take place on Saturday night, however, on Saturday night, but unfortunately it was moved to a Sunday afternoon race due to rain, and it was basically just the race for the manufacturers. It was a manufacturer war. The Fords against the Chevys. That was really the tone of this entire race, was the Ford against the Chevys. Toyota, it had its moments, but they really never played a factor. Kyle Busch was just off the entire race. But, yeah, let's get into it. The start of stage one started pretty intense. You had the Fords of, Joey Logano and Kyle Busch, who started on the front row due to qualifying being canceled, and the starting grid was set due to owner points. So Logano and Busch was on the front row, and it was pretty even, like really even. They stayed side by side, 20 rows deep for the first few laps of stage one. But then the Fords of Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, and Ryan Blaney started to form a very organized inside lane on the inside of the racetrack. Didn't cause a freight train, but there was a lot more cars on the inside lane than they were on the outside, which was more or less from the Chevy group and the Toyota group. So Fords early on really sort of set the tone for the entire race, or at least for the entire stage one. We had a bit of interesting cosmetic damage. You had the 37 car of Chris Buescher, who the back end of his car, like the wrap on the back end of his car, was loose. It started just flapping all over the place, and it was loose, so they had to fix that. Then Paul Menard, who had a roof flap, come off because the air was so disruptive, it caused the front of his roof flap to just come off. So yeah, that's how pretty intense the air was because of this package, the higher downforce and all that stuff. With 14 laps to go of stage one, the Ford camp started to pit, and then with 13 to go, the Chevy and Toyota camp started to pit, of course in big groups. Then everything cycled through. The Ford camp got ahead of the Chevy and Toyota groups and led the rest of the way through. And in fact, it became a freight train near the final 10 or so laps of stage one. With 5 laps to go, the Chevy group, which is, I believe, was on the inside, the Ford group was on the outside. They started to gain some momentum with Hendrick drivers Chase Elliott and Jimmy Johnson started to gain some momentum on that inside lane with the Chevy group. Then on the final lap, all bets were off. The Ford camp disorganized, started to make different moves. Ricky Stenhouse tried to make moves. Kevin Harvick did, who actually was the leader. Kevin Harvick was the leader, tried to stay out in front, but Logano made a very good move on the back straightaway to get by Harvick, and he won stage one with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in second, I believe. Yes, he is second, and Ryan Blaney in third. Stage two got a bit more intense. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Chase Elliott started the race on the front row in stage two, and then as soon as that happened, all the Fords went up to the racetrack with the rest of their Ford drivers, left the 9 car out on the dry, and it almost became another Ford freight train. However, Kurt Busch on that inside lane with help from the Chevys and the Toyotas got a nice run off turn 4. Stenhouse tried to come down and did not work. Kurt Busch did not lift and then spun Ricky Stenhouse Jr. out to bring out the second caution of the day. No surprise here, Stenhouse causing another caution. Then after that, from this point on, the Chevy started to take over in the race. Austin Dillon and Clint Bowyer out on the front row as they got out in front due to pit road. But then Austin Dillon gets a good push from the 9 car Chase Elliott to push the 3 car of Dillon to the lead, and it ended up being, after a few laps, the top 5 ended up being all Chevys. Third caution comes out of the day when Kurt Busch, who was involved in that accident with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., smacked the wall, I believe, in turns 1 and 2. Then later on, possibly cut a tire from smacking the wall, comes down, clips Brendan Gaughan, and then hits the outside wall to bring out the third caution of the day. However, damage, it will not really matter. He was able to recover and continue. Then the 3 car of Austin Dillon and Chase Elliott restarted the race, and it was by that point where we saw some very, and I mean very aggressive moves by Logano, by Bowyer, by Stenhouse, who somehow came back after he was involved in that crash. After he spun himself out, he somehow was able to find his way back up towards the front. It was a lot of aggressive moves. One of the reasons why is because of the weather. Rain was coming in, and there was a huge possibility that this race could end early. So many drivers were trying to get to the front as quick as possible in case if that rain goes by and we end stage 2, you know, they want to be in the best position. Because remember, the race is called after stage 2. If rain does happen and it causes the race to be postponed, then they'll just cancel because it's after stage 2. Then a little bit later on, Brad Keselowski. Remember last week, or remember on Friday where he said he ain't gonna lift? Well, Kevin Harvick also decided he ain't gonna lift because coming off of turn 4 and into the tri-oval, Kevin Harvick gave a good shot to Brad Keselowski. Too good of a shot because that sent Keselowski straight into the wall, as well as collecting Kevin Harvick and I believe also Daniel Suarez and Daniel Hemrick in the 4-1 and the 8 car respectively to bring, I believe, the 4th caution of the day. And that ended Brad Keselowski's chances. He had to send his car to the garage, and that ended his day. So, yeah, I feel bad. But on one side, it's kind of funny how he was talking smack about how he ain't gonna lift, so he decides to try and wreck someone in practice. And then he ends up getting himself wrecked in the race. I find it kind of funny, to be honest, but karma. We restart with 12 laps to go, but remember, we're closing into the end of stage 2. Weather, again, becomes even more of a problem because it's getting closer and closer to the racetrack. Chevys got out in front. We're leading the rest of the way through. But then later on, the Ford camp, again, came back, started to gain some momentum, started to catch up to the Chevys, and it became, once again, a Ford versus Chevy type battle to close out stage 2. The Fords of the 14 car of Bowyer, the 17 car of Stenhouse, and the 22 car of Joe Logano started getting enormous runs, especially between Bowyer and Stenhouse. Stenhouse was giving Bowyer huge shots off the corners to catch up to the top 7 group of Chevrolets, and it made some pretty intense racing. In fact, Bowyer eventually got out to the lead, but then 1 or 2 laps later, the 3 car of Dillon took the lead back from Bowyer, and and Dillon was able to hang on and win stage 2. It was they didn't wreck, but it was organized chaos. That's the word I would use, or phrase I would use. Organized chaos. Very intense, but very clean. But that didn't last for so long later on in stage 3. Restarted with 65 laps to go. Ryan Newman, I believe, he stayed out on pit road to hold the lead with the 22 car of Joe Logano, who restarted the race with 65 to go in stage 3. The 3 car Dillon gave the 6 car of Newman a huge shot off of turns 1 and 2 to give the 6 car of Newman the race lead. However, then on the back straightaway, Dillon came up, then came back down right underneath Newman in the middle of the back straightaway for Dillon to then take the lead once again. Dillon made also some pretty aggressive moves as well, and he made the race pretty exciting. In fact, he really helped the Chevrolets a lot, getting them to the front. Then a few laps later, I believe it was the 6 and the 3 car, they were side by side, I believe. Then the 21 car with Paul Menard, with help from Denny Hamlin, made it 3 wide on the outside in the middle of 3 and 4th, and then take the lead off of 4, and Menard was then able to take the lead. However, then off of the tri-oval on that same lap, Hamlin, who was pushing Menard, jumps to the inside, goes underneath Menard, and then Hamlin takes the lead. Remember, Hamlin won the 500. He was trying to go for the sweep to win both the 500 and the Daytona July race. I believe that has only happened with 6 other drivers, the last one being Jimmy Johnson back in 2013. Things then calmed down for a bit with Hamlin out in front. However, he had a group of Chevrolets behind him until, once again, the Ford started coming back on that outside lane with the Bowyers and your Stenhouses and your Loganos, and not your Harvicks, but drivers like that, once again, made things a lot more interesting as they started to get themselves back up towards the front. And then finally, the big one happens. With around 37 laps to go, Clint Bowyer was out. It was in second place with an Austin Dillon in first. Dillon jumps up to the high lane to block Bowyer. Bowyer then comes down. Dillon tries to make a block, but it just wasn't going to work. Dillon got loose. Bowyer then turns Dillon, slides up the track, and then collects multiple drivers. The big one, I believe, around 15 cars, I believe, were involved. Logano was involved. Elliott was involved. Chase Elliott. Chris Buescher was involved. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was involved. A lot of good cars. In fact, of the 6 or 7 lap leaders, 4 or 5 of them were involved in that lap 119 crash. And yeah, that's what really sort of just brought the race to a halt. Because after all that happened, with around 34 to go, remember, Kurt Busch was the leader. He was the leader when everything settled through. His team told him, especially crew chief Matt McCall, told him when there's 1 to go, bring the car towards pit road. 1 to go took place. Kurt Busch went on pit road. Then a lightning strike took place within 8 miles. And whenever a lightning strike happens within 8 miles, the caution will be back out immediately and the cars will be brought down to pit road. On the back straightaway, on 1 to go, the caution came out. Lightning was 7.4 miles away from the track. As a result, NASCAR was forced to bring the cars onto pit road, and Kurt was basically screwed out of a win. After he came back on the racetrack, he was, I believe, 14th or 18th on the grid, and he was furious. He even made a little comment on his radio that it reminded him a lot of 2014, where I believe Kurt Busch was in position to win, but then something happened and it went to Eric Almirola. I don't know exactly what for sure happened back in 2014, but he referred to that incident as NASCAR screwing him over. But yeah, that when he came on pit road, the driver who was in second, Justin Haley, now became the race leader. Then cars were brought down to pit road, and everyone assumed, is Justin Haley going to win this thing? Because lightning was in the area. There was rain literally circling around the track. There was no rain at the track, but it was just circling around. We were just waiting to get the clear to go back under caution and to go back racing. So yeah, and this is now like not really live, but just now, we just got word that it has been confirmed. Justin Haley wins at Daytona. Yes, that is not a joke. Justin Haley scores his first ever Monster Energy Cup Series race today here at Daytona. Wow. To be honest, kind of disappointed. More disappointed with NASCAR, really. But I understand it's a safety issue, but I feel like we need to shorten that 30-minute lightning waits. Because we were just about to go back to green. The drivers were in their cars. That is how close we were. One lightning strike was found 6 miles. Back to, now I have to wait for another 30 minutes to make sure there's no more lightning. And then, like, 15 minutes in, rain starts coming in. We could have maybe gotten this race in had we not wait longer. A lot of people were saying, I even tweeted out a lot earlier than anyone else saying this race is over. NASCAR's not going to restart this thing. And I had people literally just saying like, oh, NASCAR's, I had one guy saying don't have to because you don't work for NASCAR. Like saying that, oh, they're, also he says, I hate when people post fake news. Yeah, you can't really see it, but yeah. I knew there was no way they were going to race this thing to the end. I knew they were going to stop it. It's disappointing for sure. I would love for this race to the end. A lot of people assume that maybe, like the track has lights. And I just think that NASCAR, I just think they just wanted to go. I believe maybe the track or the race would have been restarted at lap maybe at 11 o'clock. Which I think it still would have been a good time because it's Sunday night, Monday. So people have to go to work. And even though it's summer, but I don't know. I just, part of me wishes they should have kept it going. I do believe they could have gotten it in, but maybe at like 11 or midnight. But I think at that point in time, with all the rain, Saturday or Friday, canceled majority of the races. Saturday, it was not looking so good. So, yeah, I just think that NASCAR just wanted to leave Daytona. Just to leave because they were getting pretty sick of it, probably. Again, it's a shame because I wanted the race to continue, but I kind of knew for a fact as soon as we stopped again, wait for another 30 minutes, I knew right then and there we're not going to go back to racing. It looked like NASCAR was trying purposely to give Haley the win, but whatever. A lot of fans, if you go on there, I'm on NASCAR's Twitter page where they show the tagline of Justin Haley winning. Everyone, they're just hating on NASCAR. One person says, I was just praising NASCAR for holding out. I feel betrayed and scammed right now. Instead of going on fireworks, they went out in a wet fart. Yeah, again, I feel like they should have waited out. Because it's only 5 o'clock. That's the thing. It was 5 o'clock, really. And, yeah, again, I really believe that they should have started. Maybe they could have gone back at around 11. Again, look at more comments. What a joke. What a joke. The race last night wasn't supposed to start till 7:30. And you call it today at 5. What the hell? I hope he thanks the lightning clock in his Victory Lane speech for all its help. Yeah. Worst Daytona race ever. What a joke. NASCAR is a joke today. So much for lights. Another bogus call. Not sure why you didn't start this race an hour earlier or call this as soon as the track was lost. Why wait 45 more minutes? Either call it then or wait it out. Dumb radar doesn't lie. This is a BS win. What a way to spoil an exciting, great race. He didn't even lead a lap. So a lot of bitter people on social media. Again, 2005, they waited out. I think they raced like at 2 a.m. or finished around 1 or 2 a.m. The fans stuck it out. I feel bad because if you're gonna, I do agree with some of these fans. If you're going to call it like within 5 minutes. Don't wait for 45 minutes to an hour before you make the decision. Again, I believe this race should have been waited out, but I kind of knew right then and there, NASCAR, they're not going to wait. They're going to call this. So, yeah, Justin Haley wins. Let me get to the unofficial results regarding this because we have to wait for, like, tech and stuff like that. Justin Haley wins with William Byron in second. Jimmy Johnson in third. Good run for him. Ty Dillon in fourth. Ryan Newman fifth. Corey LaJoie sixth. Eric Almirola in seventh. Matt DiBenedetto eighth. Matt Tiff ninth. And Kirk Busch in 10th. Yeah, he went from potentially scoring a win at Daytona to now coming in 10th. That's a very tough break for Kirk Busch. Landon Castle 11th, J.J. Yeley in 12th, Michael McDowell 13th, Kyle Busch 14th, Bubba Wallace 15th, Paul Menard 16th, Chris Buescher 17th, Daniel Hemrick 18th, Brendan Gaughan 19th, and Kyle Larson in 20th. Joe's drivers down low were involved in that, the big one that took place on lap 119. What would I give this race? This was a good race. Like from stage two to that big one that took place on lap 119. So I don't know, whenever stage 2 began to lap 119, it was a great race. Lap 1, or stage 1 was nothing, which I came to expect. But yeah, I don't know what I give a rating, maybe 6, 7, I don't know. This, I feel, even though I knew NASCAR wasn't going to go back to green, I'm still pretty salty about it because I feel like they could have, you know, from a fan's perspective, they could have gone back to racing, and again, like around 11 or even midnight. But from a realist side, it's 33 to go. You know, there's not that many laps. I think if this race was just one lap after stage 2, when there's still like, you know, 80 laps to go or something, then I figured, yeah, they're still going to wait it out. But the fact it was 33 to go, you know, so much rain throughout the entire weekend, I feel like NASCAR just wanted to get out of there. And I'd give Justin Haley the win. But this is not going to look good from NASCAR's part. From according to what I see on social media, NASCAR is getting hammered on. So many fans are pissed off, you know, saying that they're spoiling a great race. Here's some more comments. LOL, congrats, you're the laughing stock of NASCAR. Huge L. Rain is going to be moving out, and you have lights, and yet you wonder why you're losing fans. What an absolute disgrace of a NASCAR weekend. I feel horrible for everyone who spent money at the track this weekend. BS, take the lights out of Daytona. They are no need, apparently. Congrats to Justin, but this is a joke. Apparently lights don't matter anymore. Someone shoot me. Okay. Way to go, NASCAR, for letting down the fans when there are lights of 30 minutes away, and it didn't start the Xfinity race until 10 the other night. You could have waited this an everyday thing. It rains and then it goes away to go NASCAR. Way to go, NASCAR, for ruining the last July race. Yeah, again, even though with the Xfinity they did wait it out to like 10, 11, but like I said, I feel like them calling it at 5 o'clock. If you take a look at just, you know, my like a little weather app, rain would have stopped at around 9 p.m. Then, of course, with 2 hours, we'll take it to around 11 p.m. Then more thunderstorms would have taken place. That would have lost the track again, take 2 hours, and then another storm would have taken place. I don't know. Like, there were signs of it. They should have maybe started at around 10, 11 p.m., but I don't know. But what a shame. What a shame. It was a good race, and then to have it end it like that with rain, just and the fact that it's the last July race at Daytona, I don't know. That really, I feel bad for a lot of the fans that's wasted their money, or not waste, I should say, but kind of wasted. Spent their money. I'll use a safer word. Spent their money for this race just to go home wet. So yeah, apologize to the fans. Apologize to everyone. Next week is Kentucky. Yay! I don't know. Congratulations to Justin Haley. Redemption. Last week or last year, he got called for going below the yellow line in Xfinity race, and this year he wins his first Cup race. Tell me, what do you guys think of the race in the comment section down below. Until next time, my name is Joe Cross from NASCAR and MDK, and I'll see you guys in the next video.